So today we are going to look at example 6.3 on page 135 in our textbook called Medical Dosage Calculations, 11th edition by Olson, Giangrasso, and Shrimpton. So on page 135 we're looking at example 6.3, and what's unusual about this example is that this is what's called a combination drug. So if we look at the label, the name of the drug is Vicodin, and it consists of hydrocodone and acetaminophen. And this slash in between the two different dosages means that in each tablet there are 5 milligrams of hydrocodone and 300 milligrams of acetaminophen. So the order says how many tablets, this is the question, how many tablets of this narcotic analgesic will be needed for a dose containing 10 milligrams of hydrocodone and 600 milligrams of acetaminophen. So now I'm going to switch my camera so you can see what I'm writing. So I've written the important information, the example number, what page we're on, the order, and what's on hand, looking at that label. So on hand, you can see that when we were looking at the label, that on hand it's 5 milligrams and 300 milligrams of hydrocodone and acetaminophen. So that's the important thing. The important thing to get off the label. That's the important bits. So what we're going to do is, and there's different ways of doing this, and in the textbook they show a very slightly different way that does the same thing. So what I'm going to do is first consider the hydrocodone piece. So for the hydrocodone, the order is 5 milligrams, and on hand is the order is for 10 milligrams. And on hand is 5 milligrams per tablet. So what we're going to do is, using dimensional analysis, we start with the doctor's order like we always do, 10 milligrams over 1. And the strength is 5 milligrams per tablet, but we want the milligrams to cancel. We'll put 5 milligrams here and 1 tablet here. And the milligrams cancel, and 10 divided by 5 is 2, and the units are tablets. So when we do the calculation, we come up with 2 tablets. Let's do the same calculations for the acetaminophen. Well, now the order is for 600 milligrams of acetaminophen, and on hand is 300 milligrams per tablet. So similarly, we do the order, which is 600 milligrams, because we always start with what the doctor wants, and make that over 1, and multiply by that dosage strength so that we get rid of the milligrams and gain tablets. So 300 milligrams goes here, and 1 tablet goes here. The milligrams cancel, and we end up with 2 tablets. What does this mean? Well, the fact that it came out to be 2 tablets either way tells us that the answer is that the dose is 2 tablets. Why is this important? You must do it for both drugs, because what if it was an order for 10 milligrams and 300 milligrams for the 2 different drugs? Then we'd end up with 2 tablets for the hydrocodone and only 1 tablet for the acetaminophen. So then we would not be able to use this particular formulation of the drug. We would have to go to the prescribing physician and say, what would you like me to do? Because they're either going to tell you, they're either going to change the order that they give you, or they're going to tell you to use a different formulation instead of the label that we were looking at. So I'll go ahead and show that label one more time. So because this label has 5 and 300, that means that we can only have that ratio of hydrocodone and acetaminophen. And that's actually how the textbook explains this. They look at that ratio between the 2 drugs, and as long as the ratio is the same for the order and for the medication on the label, then you can use it. If it was not the same ratio, we would have to contact the prescribing physician to do something different. Another way of looking at this is that if we had gotten different answers for the two different calculations, that would be impossible. It's impossible to give the patient both 2 tablets and 1 tablet, because if you say, well, I'll just give them 3, that's not giving them 2 tablets, that's not giving them 1 tablet, that's giving them way too much medication. So they have to agree, otherwise you cannot give the patient what the doctor has ordered. Thank you.